right, welcome back to the Sports Lounge. I'm Nathan Stacken. We're just running a three-man weave here, I guess, because Drew and Blake are off. They will be back with us for game time. But it's time to talk NHL for once on the show, I guess.
Why?
In last Friday's game between the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins, a record, I believe, 346 penalty minutes in the game. And it's gotten a lot of people talking. The NHL came down and suspended a few players. Penguins president Mario Lemieux said, "I'm disappointed. The NHL really missed it on this one." But it's gotten the ordinary person who doesn't normally follow the NHL to talk about it. So is fighting good or bad for the NHL?
Depending on how much fighting there is. Something like this, every once in a while, that's fine. But do I want to see him throwing down every time? I don't know. That's not going to make me watch hockey anymore because these fights, what do they last? 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe? If you see one or two good punches, you're lucky. So I really don't care about it, but it's got us talking on this show. So.
And isn't that good for the NHL to get maybe back in the mainstream?
It's not bad at least. I know, obviously some people are going to say that it's bad for it because that's, what they're supposed to say. But I think fighting's a part of hockey. It makes it more entertaining. You don't want it to be the only thing you're known for, but it's something that is a big deal. And I think more fighting along with the rule changes they made after the strike, like no overtime ties and going to penalty shots. I think that's good stuff. I don't know if it's going to help hockey long term. I don't know if it has a whole lot of legit staying power on versus, but
and no one likes a lot of fights like we saw, but it's such an anomaly in this Islanders and Penguins game for them to drop the gloves seemingly every other minute. It seemed like there were just various times during the game where you knew, 3 fights are going to break out. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the NHL? It's tough to say. If you are an avid NHL fan, you would say, well, we love the game no matter what. I don't think fights are going to help at all. But if you are just a casual viewer of the NHL, a fight like this obviously will stir up some interest and you'll end up watching the game. I think, are you going to be more interested? Are you going to want to watch for this next fight night?
No.
No? Okay.
To put it bluntly, no, I will not. But I did watch the end of that Wild Blues game.
Saturday.
There was a solid couple punches there. That was a good fight.
I'll put it this way. If I knew ahead of time or someone had recorded one with lots of fights in it, I would be willing to watch it. But unfortunately, obviously, you're not going to know if there's going to be a lot live. I, unfortunately, am not from Minnesota, so I'm not much of a hockey fan.
Well,
I'm pretty close to Minnesota, but not. So I'm not a huge hockey fan. I did watch the Mighty Ducks movies, enjoyed those.
Based in Minnesota, too, by the way. Well, you won't see this three-man bob and weave team like we did for this segment, at least not next week's show because we're off. We'll have more about that next segment. Travis mentioned it before with Ian Drew. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll do another three-man segment in
future
couple weeks. Yeah, you
also
never know.
Called the radio show.
Yes, that's true. It is the radio show with Charlie Travis and I, the Sports Block. But that's another show. We don't want to plug that.
Yeah, we do.
Shameful promotion and plug-in for us. When we return, we will have game time. I have a trophy. I have the trophy. It's somewhere offset right now. I'll bring that out. And will I keep it or not? I hope so, but find out next. You're watching the Sports Lounge.
And welcome back to the Sports Block. Now it's time for our true-false segment. I will ask the panel here some questions in the world of sports. They will answer true or false. First, a college basketball and NBA question. True or false, you would rather watch Jimmer Fredette than Blake Griffin? False across the board. Blake, you like his dunks. The little white guy with the three-point shot doesn't do it.
Well, I mean, we've seen that before. We've seen the little white guy, the shooters before. We've seen Adam Morrison do it before.
He was a big one.
He was, but I mean, he's a pure shooter. And while I like watching guys get hot shooting, there's nothing more exciting right now in the NBA or the world of basketball than Blake Griffin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not to take anything away from Fredette, and like you said, he's fun to watch. It's neat to watch and put up 40 points or whatever. But when on any given night, you could see a spectacular highlight dunk that maybe not that you've never seen before, but you see very, very rarely from a guy that's 6'10" and so athletic. I would prefer to watch Blake Griffin.
I like Jimmer. good player. I might name my dog Jimmer, but not more entertaining than Blake Griffin.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go Blake Griffin too because dunks sell and Griffin has made the Clippers relevant.
Yes.
I think we've made that point several times.
Moving on to golf now. Tiger Woods will win a tournament this season. True or false? The opposite side of the coin, everybody says true. He will win a tournament this year.
I mean, it's tough to bet against him because he's Tiger Woods, but he has played some bad golf recently. I mean, he's completely caved this weekend, in the final round. And I mean, I honestly want to pick false, just the way he's played since he came back from his whole fiasco. But, he's still Tiger Woods. I think it's just tough to bet against him.
I think we should think
Will
about
he win a major?
what major. I think we should think about what tournament is he going to win. And I see, he even with that disaster of a last year, he still finished fourth in the Masters and I think fourth in the U.S. Open. So, I think he's figuring some things out with his swing. But I think one of the majors, I think he has a better shot than last year for sure. And so I think he'll nab one major probably. But again, that Sunday round that he had where he's spitting on the green and not putting well, I mean, he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, he's struggled recently, but he has had, like was said, he's had a few good tournaments last year, and I don't see him going an entire season without winning at least one tournament. It could happen, but I just think the inner drive in him is going to basically force him to win one at least.
Whatever you guys said, I'll go with that too. He's Tiger Woods. He's going to figure it out eventually. He says his game is much better than it was last year when he came back. He's going to win.
Okay. Moving on to baseball now. Albert Pujols will sign a long-term deal with the Cardinals.
When though?
Anytime.
By the deadline?
You have false.
I'm going to say false on this. If we're going to go strictly by the deadline that he set,
by next week, by the end of the season, he will be a Cardinal, the rest of his career, the majority of his career.
I hope I'm wrong with this because I really hope he signs with the Cardinals, but I don't know. I just don't think they're going to get a agreement made. I really don't. I don't know where he's going to go. Are they going to try and trade him to someone else? I'm going to go out on a limb and say false, and I hope I'm wrong.
I think you will be.
I hope I am.
Because it's just a surefire Hall of Famer like Pujols. I mean, these types of guys just don't get traded away or signed with other teams. Now, Pujols off the field has had nothing, no major issues there, no major issues with character. So I think with those things combined, there's no way that I think that he gets shut out by St. Louis management and stuff like that. He'll sign a huge deal, maybe a record-breaking deal, but it'll happen.
Well, he wants 10 years, $300 million. I don't think he's going to get that. The Cardinals don't want to give him that. They're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. But as a Cardinals fan, if I was one, I'm not. But if I were a Cardinals fan, I'd be awfully pessimistic that they won't get something done, and I'd go towards won't do anything and then be happy once they finally do get something done.
I think they're eventually going to have to get something done. I mean, this is Albert Pujols, who's probably the best player in baseball. Maybe not the best, but definitely one of the best in baseball.
Most consistent.
Yeah, and maybe the best position player they've had since Stan Musial. I mean, I think he's better than McGuire. I mean, he didn't have as many home runs, but I think he's better than McGuire.
Better than Edgar Renteria.
I think he's better than Edgar Renteria. I don't know if he's better than Stan the Man, but he's pretty good.
Edgar Renteria was great with the Marlins.
I know he was.
All right, I mean they have to re-sign him. They can't let Pujols walk.
True or false, Carmelo Anthony stays with the Nuggets.
I hate this question.
Why do you hate this question?
Well, just
because he's either gonna
switching to true.
Okay, go. As I can see, these questions are
true?
terrible since there's
I'm going with true because, it appears that the deal with the Knicks fell through. He's been playing well recently. I don't think they're going to want to – I don't know if he wants to get out as much as he used to. And basically, I just didn't want to agree with all of you guys.
Well,
but I don't think they really want to let go of him. It still could happen.
Well, and why does he now say, if I don't get traded, I will seriously consider signing that extension with the Nuggets? That just doesn't make any sense. Either you want to play with the Nuggets or you don't. He's going to be a Knick. I think, in the end.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
I kind of wish he wouldn't, because you're seeing the shift with the major stars coming and joining and forming a mega team. You see it down in Miami. There's talk about Chris Paul of the Hornets going up to New York and joining Melo, along with Amari Stoudemire. I don't like it at all. I think you need to spread your stars out, but I think he's not going to stay in Denver.
I think the Nuggets might be a little bit better if they actually did get rid of him. I think
How?
he's a gifted offensive player, but I think defensively he's a liability. He always has been. That's the truth. And they've
There is
never.
no defense in the NBA.
Well, that's a fallacy, but that is something else entirely. Anyway, yeah, he's a good scorer and everything like that. But what have the Nuggets done? What's the best they've done with Carmelo as their number one guy? I think at some point you just have to think we need to shift some things here, and I think they can get.
Look at
I think in a trade,
without LeBron.
and I think they can get a good trade if they were to do that. Now, what team it's going to be, I don't know. It sounds like the Knicks are in limbo, but I think that's a situation where they get rid of Carmelo, they get some good players, and come next year, I think overall they're just a little bit better of a team.
True or false? There's no defense in the NBA. Not the real question. Not the real
ridiculous.
question. This is the final question before we get to the trivia segment. Valentine's Day is the most overrated holiday of them all. True or false? Got Hildebrand early with a false.
And it's not because I really like Valentine's Day. I'm going with Arbor Day as the most overrated.
False and
Well,
false.
okay. That's a good point. I'll go false too then.
Hell, somebody.
We apparently do
Well,
not
I
want to
think
make people upset.
I think Valentine's Day is made up by the greeting card companies.
No, what is the most overrated holiday?
I
then?
think that's
But are we
basically
going like
true.
Flag Day? Are we going?
Is it a holiday?
Hey, it's a patriotic
Yeah.
day, Nathan.
I know, but so is Independence Day. Labor Day. I don't know. That's a ridiculous thing. I
Labor
don't
Day,
know.
you at least get the day
It's
of
not
work
even
off.
really a holiday.
I've never been a big New Year's guy. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, but
Blake Day. Enlighten us.
I would agree that New Year's Eve, New Year's Day could be the most overhyped. I mean, Valentine's Day, I mean, it's
the
got
beginning
some
of a new
legitimacy,
year.
but I don't know.
Yeah, my
if you're-
favorite part about New Year's
what if
Day
you're
is the
single?
college football games. That's all I care about.
What if you're single on Valentine's Day?
Then you-
That's overrated
And
too.
suicide is in your future.
Then it's no different than the day before when you were
Yeah.
single.
What a terrible thing to say. No.